Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the B Team. Ryan Brauninger in the main chair, as normal. To my left, it's very much not Richard Zane. Billy Liucci joins us, his inaugural trip to the B Team. And
well, I keep saying I'm showing up, and then I don't. So while we were here, I said, let's get a little segment in.
Yeah, we're going to do like 15, 20 minutes. Richard's waiting in the wings. Nicholas, I do have to say I don't have any ears. Okay, so at some point they'll be bringing me. Maybe that'll be good. Nick's a big NASCAR guy. Maybe that's like the pit stop. Okay. You go out, Richard comes in, they bring us ears.
They'll change the wheel.
So if you haven't listened to this show before, Billy, it's kind of a top-of-mind sports show. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to you before we started about, with you being on here, we're going to make it a little bit more A&M specific for these first 15 minutes. But there's some stuff going on Twitter about Marcel, and you've been adamant about his availability. We've both heard he's fine, he's practicing. But some folks on Twitter got a little riled up about his decision not to slide on that play.
Let me guess who they were.
Well, yeah, it's usually the same crew.
Yep.
Nameless, faceless kind of thing. But I thought it was interesting because I was going through some PFF stuff, had some data sent to me about quarterbacks sliding feet first and how they put themselves in a much more susceptible position when they slide feet first as opposed to either like a soft dive or a roll. And also, remember the letter of the law states that if you slide, the ball is dead where your intent to slide starts.
Yeah. And
it's not hard to think about. Remember, was it Trevor Lawrence who nearly lost his head from sliding like that? And think about without
the Texans.
Yeah, without even the data to look at, I started going through my brain. It's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Sliding feet first in football, where everybody is trying to hit you, it exposes so many parts of your body you don't want to get hit, most notably your head.
Well, also, football players are not baseball players. Quarterbacks are not they're not used to sliding feet first. They're used to diving more so. And I think it probably, I'd imagine, puts your, you run the risk of ankle, knee, stuff like that more as well. So, yeah, I think that all makes sense. I also think, why are we in a place where we are now feeling the need to blame your own team, your quarterback, and we're getting into the minutia of blaming him for how he's sliding. It's not like this guy's insanely reckless with his body and does a bunch of crazy things. Hell, I saw a guy that did that won a Heisman Trophy a couple of years ago in Baton Rouge. And I mean, play how you play. And I just think, I feel like this is like, when you say much ado about nothing, I think this is the people that are saying this are just a group of people that, are scared the quarterback's not going to play, and they're frustrated by it, and they're taking it out, and they're like putting their feelings out on social media. I don't think it's necessary.
The way it was explained to me is like the data is not even close. It's not like it's neck and neck where diving is a little bit safer. It's like infinitely safer to go head first and dive and get down. And then again, you don't put your knees and ankles at risk. Was it Russell Wilson this past weekend that slid feet first and his knee got caught and he limped around the rest of the game? So you see it every week. And I'll go back to that play that Marcel got injured on. If he slides and his upper body is exposed, the way that guy came in, he hits him in the right side of the head, and who knows if he's playing this week.
Yeah, no, again,
it's just I thought it was very interesting.
It's interesting, but it's not surprising, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think, again, people they're looking for something to, get mad about these first couple weeks. And look, hopefully we fully expect him to play Saturday. Not to give too much detail, but everything I've heard during the week and it sounds promising and good, again, not to just dive into every little detail, but I feel good about the fact that Elko said he's going to play not Saturday night and Monday, and everything I've heard and gathered since then, I feel better and better and better and better. My question will be, I had two questions. How much practice would he miss while just getting over the soreness of an injury, upper body injury, whatever? And I think that one's been alleviated. And then the second part of that is when he inevitably does take a hit, because you took one against Utah State, you took a couple against UTSA. You're always going to in that position, but especially against a defense like this. How does Marcel feel? How does he handle that on Saturday night? And that none of us are going to know till the game's played.
I like what you said about practice, because it was something that was brought and talked a lot more about this week post-game with Florida than it was pre-game whenever Florida lost to South Florida.
He hadn't been practicing.
And they talked about how much time DJ Lagway had missed in the spring and in the summer, and I still don't think he looks right. He doesn't look like the guy I saw in high school, like dynamic. Once he decides to run, it's quick and powerful. So there's definitely something going on there. And yesterday I likened it to –
there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there is. And we're going to get to that. Before we get you out of here, I want to get to some of that stuff that we talked about yesterday. But I likened it to last fall, Aggie baseball, Hayden Schott, no foul ball. Gavin Grahovic, no foul ball.
Yeah.
Jay Slavolette, no foul ball. Like, I don't care how good the players are, you need the reps. So spring football, as much as I don't think it's a huge indicator and a huge determining factor of success, it is necessary for the development of the team and the culture and the camaraderie and chemistry.
No question. And you talk about chemistry, you think about that passing game. And you look at it early on, and there's a lot of chemistry and cohesion there, much more so than last year when Marcel Reed was generally working with the twos. Then all of a sudden he comes in and he's your starter. It looked good, then it's choppy. Now you've got guys that they came in the spring, and I know Concepcion and Craver haven't been here forever, but they were all here in spring ball. And they worked on that, and they had a whole off season to work on that. And by all accounts, it was a very well-attended summer, I'll put it that way. And I think you're seeing the results of that on the field.
Every Tuesday, we do something called Top 5 Tuesday. And yesterday, 2 of the top 5s that we did were last week's biggest winners and biggest losers in college football. I'm going to quickly go through my list. Tell me if there's something that from this past week that you vehemently disagree with. My number, so this is going let's go 5 to 1. 5 to 1. Baylor, Oregon, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and USF were my top 5 winners. I've struggled. Iowa State could have gone in there.
Yeah. I mean, I would go. I'm trying to think if you left anybody off I'm thinking of, but I would actually go with I might put Mississippi State even above USF, as crazy as that sounds, just because, first of all, USF will probably end up losing their coach because of that win. they might lose him to Gainesville.
Be the biggest loser.
Goalish, right? But I just think, now Arizona State looks shaky to me too, but they're in the Big 12. I think as the season goes on, like Mississippi State has had a rough go of it, really since Dak left.
Yeah.
And then they lose Dan Mullen and they make a bad hire. Then they, I think I would go, and then obviously what happened, it goes without saying, that's an understatement to say when you think about what happened with Mike Leach, losing the all-time legend that he was. So I think that was just cathartic night for everyone in Starkville, and your boy Brandon Walker. Hopefully I'll get to see him this tomorrow, but watching him watch that and record himself live feed, I mean, this is a grown man brought to tears. I mean, they people just like here, passionate in Starkville, and they've had a rough go of it in football lately. I put them at 1.
That was the rowdiest I've ever seen that stadium. I mean, it looked like it was electric in there. Let me tell you something.
I still think it's unfair to get to do the Cal. I mean, I still think it's ridiculous. But
unfair, like Arch having to play against Matt Patricia. Yeah, that's very unfair.
So unfair.
I thought so. What Mississippi State has done is they've got a quarterback that can throw the ball pretty well, and then their receivers, they've got small guys that can run. 2 of them are Texans.
Yeah,
Anthony Evans that started at Georgia, and Brennan Thompson's on school number 3.
Yep.
And I just couldn't believe, and we talked about this, I think, at the gym. When you think about Arizona State, last year in the playoff game against Texas, was it 4th and 17 or something like that?
Yeah.
And they throw the touchdown pass to Matthew Golden, and he's in one-on-one coverage.
Very aggressive defense.
And they did it again. And they left an entire field for Brennan Thompson to run into, the fastest guy on the field.
It was pretty crazy, with a very accurate downfield passer.
Yes.
So it's like if you don't get there, you lose.
Okay, let's go top 5, my biggest losers last week. And I admit I left one out inadvertently. So I'm going to go through my 5, and then I'm going to tell you who I left out. 5, Virginia Tech. 4, Clemson. 3, West Virginia. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Lost
brutal.
at Ohio.
Awful.
2, Oklahoma State. 1 was Florida. The one that I left out that could probably go to
give me a hint.
Devastating loss. Team that was picked toward the top of their conference. They lost to a team that
SMU.
They lost to a team that the previous week lost to an FCS.
Oh, not Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas
how
State.
do you not have Kansas State?
Exactly.
Well, also SMU. I mean, it's not like they should have won that game. To lose that game to Baylor the way they did, that was pretty damn bad for them. They're probably just off the cut line there. But yeah, like Kansas State, that's probably a tenure changer. You know, that's Kleiman might be gone. Then you wonder if they make a call down here. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that is. And it's something. So today we're going to get into. ESPN had a huge article today about coaches on the hot seat, guys that have cooled their seats, and then the candidates. Something we're going to talk about a little bit later. But I should have put Kansas State in for Virginia Tech, but I'm not trying to undersell how poor Virginia Tech is and the depths that program has fallen to.
So,
I mean, it was 20-10. They were beating Vanderbilt at half. Vanderbilt scored 34 unanswered.
The last time, and it's tough for Virginia Tech too. They played South Carolina, tough too. But you're also talking about South Carolina and Vandy. They're not playing Bama and Georgia. You know, and I know Bama lost to Vandy, but you know what I'm saying. They're not playing like prime SEC. And I believe we're going to see this with South Carolina. I think you're playing a couple middle of the pack SEC teams. Vandy's certainly on the lower end in terms of overall talent. Virginia Tech, that fall from grace has been ridiculous. I remember there was a time, Brauny, I had many a conversation with Scott Woodward where, you know, just being real honest, the conversation was if Coach Sumlin doesn't get it done, it's going to be Jimbo. And then if it's not Jimbo, he would tell me Justin Fuente. And I know I told you about that repeatedly. It was you know, that's where he was at. And thank God they didn't.
Well, they hired him from Memphis, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Hey, you can say what you want. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, Zane can look this up, or Nick, or whoever's back there. I think Justin Fuente did he beat A&M in 1990? Was he the quarterback? Or no, that was probably Gundy. That was probably Cale Gundy. Justin Fuente might have come in here the next. There was a season where Fuente was OU's quarterback when they played A&M. I think Cale Gundy.
Justin Fuente played, this is according to ChatGPT, University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Transferring to Murray State after his sophomore year.
Yeah, so I don't know what year it was, but he started a game, I believe, against A&M and was not
Led
good.
the Sooners to a freshman victory over Texas in 1996.
96, okay. So,
Is that the year
in the Big 12, he played, and that was before, that was when OU was pretty bad. A couple years before that, I think it was Cale Gundy that actually QB'd OU past A&M, a shocking road loss. But Va-Tech's so bad, man, that, you know, they were on the back end of how good they were when they came here to Kyle Field as a top 10 team. And when A&M went there a year later, it was RC's last year, so it was 02, and then Fran's first year, 03. That was I think it was the last time, second to last time, that A&M's been on the road to play a top 10 team, believe it or not, non-conference. But we saw Marcus Vick. We didn't see Michael Vick. But from Michael Vick and beating Texas in the Sugar Bowl and what Beamer had, where he had that program, yeah, they're one of the dregs right now.
We talked about last week on the show our favorite teams to play with on NCAA football back in the day. Virginia Tech was a good call because they went Michael Vick to Marcus Vick. Yeah. And the mobile quarterbacks in those games were killers. They
made Marcus Vick into, you know, we used to play that all the time, and I wasn't great. I was pretty good, and Irvin Taylor was really, you know, one of the hardest ones to beat, and we were all hanging out back then. And Irv, he just cheat code would play with Georgia Tech, and basically he just could control the receiver really well, and he just threw 4 He would just throw it deep down the field to Calvin Johnson every time. And the one team you could kill with, and I used to torch Leone with, and it sucked having to do it, but you just beat Texas with Vince Young.
Yeah.
And you just run hurry up option. And you could do that with Reggie a little bit, but the rest of the A&M team on that game wasn't good enough. But yeah, I think Brandon always used to be Ohio State. But the funny thing is, tell me if this surprises you or not, right down the street here, me, Bumgardner, Rich Cody, Rant McCown was too country to play. He wasn't good at the video games. Me, Bum, Rich. Maybe McCown was good. Maybe it was Jason Bragg stunk. But Dan would play, and Dan was good, not great. And you'd be like ready to go somewhere, and everybody would kind of be waiting to go, and whoever was playing had to finish that game before you could go. And if you beat Dan, he wouldn't, we're playing again, play it again. And so at some points along the way, whether it's back at Kane Hall or when we lived here in this neighborhood, it was kind of understood, like you'd start seeing everybody was getting ready to leave, like, just let him win the damn game. And he would never, it would kill him to hear that. But that was something that we all kind of knew if we were ready to get over to the tap or wherever we were going back then.
All right, 2 more questions before I let you go. First, I want to start with Hunter McKinney, announced PWO commitment to A&M. Mm-hmm. You've known that kid his whole life. Mm-hmm. Steve's one of your best friends, obviously Seth as well. I talked about it today on TexAgs Live. Just really cool. I mean, it's got to be cool for you, make you feel old a little bit, but super happy I know you are for Hunter and Steve.
Doesn't make me feel old. There's a lot of other things that can make me feel old, but I choose to not think that way. There used to be a joke, Lou Ann McKinney, and they used to joke that I lived with Steve, then Seth, and I was going to live with Sean McKinney. And I was like, I'm not going to live with Sean. And fortunately for me, I was done with roommates by the time he came through. But now it's like you could just have Hunter McKinney. Now we're going all the way to the next generation. And they've both already put kids through A&M, Steve and Seth. But Hunter, it's been awesome to watch. And he's still so far from being the finished product. So I love that they send him here to develop. But he's what he is he's really, really big, and he's going to be a giant-sized interior lineman when it's all said and done.
I didn't know about the story about his thyroid issue until Steve told me, and then Steve talked about it on our interview. The thyroid issue when he was 10, the doctor said he's not going to get bigger than 5'10". Well, obviously, he's overcome, and I didn't know he'd overcome so much. So the video that Steve sent in our group chat of the Alabama Seth Small game winner, and Hunter's right there jumping up and down, and the camera pans to Seth.
Storm the field.
Let's rush the field.
Let's rush the field. Let's rush the field.
Anyway, I thought that was cool. I figured you were pumped to see Hunter get that opportunity.
Always.
Last thing before I let you go. There's been a lot of conversation this week, and we talked about this as well off air, that this is like some point, some sort of line in the sand moment for this A&M football team this week in South Bend. Marty Smith said it was like a program-defining, could be a program-defining moment, season-defining moment. I disagree with that. And I've said this going back to hosting TexAgs Live over the summer when David was out, was that I don't know that I would have Notre Dame in the top 5, probably 5th on top 5 most important games of the season. But with what they've still got ahead, win or lose, there's so much work left to be done. It's hard for me to say that this is some sort of big, like I said, line in the sand moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many opportunities, but I kind of disagree. Like, here's the thing. You could say the same thing about Oklahoma, under Brent Venables. Yeah. Now, he's under more pressure. He'd been there longer, but they're going to play way more important games than Michigan. But just for the timing of it and who was watching and what people were wanting to see and waiting to see, I think it is it's an incredible opportunity. I don't think it's a line in the sand from the sand. Look, we're going to all be, not we all, but like if A&M loses that game by 1 point or 10, everybody's going to be really down on it. You're going to look at the schedule and go, man, what's in play now? You've already got a loss and you got 8 SEC games. It's hard to chalk. If you lose that game, it's hard to look at any of them and go definite win. It really is. You can look at some still should wins based on how A&M plays, but Yeah, if you told me they were going to lose in South Bend and go 7-1 in the SEC, then it doesn't matter at all. But I just think the timing of it, what Mike Elko and his program can go and take, what Marcel Reed can do for just how many people start watching, not just him, but this Texas A&M offense, what it can do for, I think, confidence in Bright and the effect and impact it has on the games you're talking about. Namely, the next three, because you have an off week and then you have 3 SEC teams coming here, 2, if not all of whom could be pretty wounded coming in here. Auburn's got to go to OU. Mississippi State they'll probably be fine.
4-1 or 5-0.
Yeah, they have a pretty, but it's still a team that you're better than coming in here in theory. And then that third one's Florida, and we know what that schedule looks like. And then you go to Arkansas, who they're flying high right now. Between them and A&M, they've got Ole Miss, they've got Notre Dame, and they've got Tennessee at a minimum. They might have one more. So there's a great opportunity for you if you beat A&M. Beat Notre Dame. I don't think it necessarily ruins your season, but I think it does go a lot longer towards making your season if you win that game. And Brauny, imagine if they won that game last year.
They would have had a real shout for an outside bid.
Let me rephrase that.
But they wouldn't have changed where they were at the end of the season.
If they'd have lost to Texas and then lost the SEC title game and beat Auburn, if they'd have beat Auburn, that Notre Dame loss would have kept them out of the playoff. Probably a 4-loss A&M team.
That's a very interesting debate.
I think a 4-loss A&M team ain't getting in. I don't even know if a 3-loss team.
Yeah, but you'd be the runner-up in the SEC.
I don't.
And that's a bad precedent to set.
I think Sankey could have fought it all he wanted. And if he even would have, I don't think it would have happened. I think there are too many other SEC teams that would have looked better. And with the weird schedule, my point is this: we could argue that all day. Auburn, had you beat them, made that one tackle, kept Peyton Thorne from gaining this much, I think the Notre Dame loss keeps you out of the playoff. And I think this is the type of year that if this A&M team is a good team like we think, it could once again, whether that's 9-3 versus 8-4 or 10-2 versus 9-3, this is a type win that if push comes to shove, it gets you in the playoff. And if they're able to do that in year 2 under Elko, as you know, covering recruiting every day, the sky is absolutely the limit.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said. I just know that the level that they're going to have to play at South Bend, they're going to have to meet that level a bunch more times to beat Auburn, to beat Florida. If you play bad against Mississippi State, they're going to beat you. So there's so many times that you're going to have to come to the stadium and play at a really high level remaining. Just because you beat Notre Dame on the road, that doesn't guarantee you anything against Auburn or Florida.
No, but I just think this program needs momentum in a big way. And I don't think you're going to have another chance to get it. Really, I mean, you go and beat those teams we mentioned in Arkansas. You've got momentum LSU, internally, but I don't think you're going to truly have a chance to get momentum again until you go to Baton Rouge. Yep. And by momentum, I mean people outside this program. I think it's very, very important to this season. I would rank it no worse. On my list, I would rank it. Now, you lose certain games, and it hurts you as much as a win over Notre Dame helps you. We get that. Auburn, LSU last year. LSU, wow, what did that do for you? Auburn, damn, you went and lost to a bad team, and it crushed your – so, but I think in terms of like what a win could mean, I think it's no worse than third, if not second, behind Texas.
The Astros going to make the playoffs? Luis Garcia on the DL again.
Man,
it's been
freaking
tough
Mariners.
to watch.
I think they will.
I
don't think they're going to do much after that, but I think they'll get in the playoffs.
The offense is so frustrating when you get trade for Correa and you get Jordan back, and Jordan has been going crazy, and they still can't score any runs. It's been frustrating. All right, dude, I appreciate you.
You can't do that much.
Injuries,
shuffling movement, and the injuries are insane. And I just think that run is over with. Wow. I'm not saying they can't.
They gotta
I just don't. I don't see them getting back to they could still win that division multiple times. It's not. I don't think it's a great division, but I think just that window is closed on them.
Is Jose Altuve the greatest athlete of all time in the city of Houston?
I'm not going to ever say that when Akeem the Dream Olajuwon played in the city of Houston. By the way, here's what you're probably not factoring in.
I just asked a question.
No, I know.
I would go Dream first.
But I'm saying 2 titles in Houston. But remember, he also was the centerpiece of Phi Slamma Jamma at U of H. So he was a college star, a pro star, and they were within one miracle shot of a national title for the Cougars as well. So I'd put Olajuwon 1, and I would put Altuve 2. I mean, Altuve's had some of my favorite moments as a Houston sports fan, and that's even as like a jaded adult. Of course, you remember everything that was when you were a kid and even high school and college age. But man, he's had some. I've been at that stadium when he's done some pretty incredible stuff. I remember when I wasn't there. I was in A&M played Ole Miss. We hit the walk-off against, the Yankees. It was. Now, I would say that's probably the greatest singular moment in Houston sports history. It was that swing. I know they won a World Series, 2 World Series, but that swing against the Yankees in that stadium, Game 7, walk-off to go to the World Series, pinnacle, greatest moment in Houston sports history.
I grew up, and you never think anybody is going to surpass Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman. Randy Johnson pitched for the Astros for a little bit. You grow up and you go to the Dome, and that was a big deal for me growing up. As you get in the car and you drive from Beaumont to Houston, you go to the Dome, you're going to see the Astros, and those guys were icons and legends. They still are.
Yep.
But it's hard to fathom that Jose Altuve, I think, unequivocally has moved past all of those guys and sits at the top of the best Astro of all time.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Bagwell, I almost keep him ahead of Altuve just from the simple point that he made fun of Seth at the Metallica concert to me.
Didn't he compliment your
I
beard?
drug Bagwell in to make fun of Seth, and it was awesome. He played right along with it. But he volunteered. He was he was making fun of Seth's goatee. He was trying to keep this, and I guess Bagwell's got what I've got going, but just longer. And he's like, "Come on, man, you got to fully commit, dude. Look at you, that looks ridiculous." And it was pretty fun.
Seth makes,
Altuve's number 1.
Seth makes an easy target for too many people. All right, you want to stay, or you got here?
No, I want to get Zane in here, and then I've got to go.
You're getting ready to leave.
Going to Chicago tomorrow. Don't have a hotel yet. Don't have a return
which
flight.
is right on. Yeah, right on brand.
We got work to do.
Yeah, all right, dude.
All right, Brauny.
Thanks for stopping in.
Yep.
Billy Liucci makes his first appearance on the B team. It all makes sense. It's good branding. Billy on the B team. Zane will come in here in just a second. We are working on our bit for tomorrow, Thunderdome Thursdays.
What's that?
We do a bit every Thursday. We started it last week. Last week was the hot chicken. Mm-hmm. It's going to have to do something with liquid consumption, not alcohol, but liquid consumption tomorrow in the show. So
we do have alcohol sponsors.
Not on this show yet. We're working on another sponsor that liquid consumption would be kind of coalesce with that. So we are working on that tomorrow. So it'll be me, Richard, and Bickham participating.
Panickum.
The competition there for any type of consumption, I should have a strong head start on. You can walk across. Go ahead. It's the B team. The production value here.
I like that.
We don't care. We don't stress. All right. We're going to welcome in Zane. Is he back there, Nick?
He's on his way. He's coming out of the bullpen.
You can talk too. Yeah, we're bringing in the left-hander.
I wish we had a button, start flashing all the lights and playing. Maybe this is a good topic for Richard to start on. What his, walk-up song would be. Or maybe if you're a pitcher, you get a longer song, you get more time. So maybe it's different if he was coming out of the pen, what it would be. So I'd be
Aschenbach was, I'm a cowboy.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.
Yeah, there you go.
So Richard, I just removed the left-hander from the game, and I went and got the crafty left-hander.
Well, I heard you guys talking a little bit. I was very tempted to do do you remember when Heath Bell came in out of the bullpen
Bells.
in that the All-Star game in Arizona, and he sprinted to the mound.
That would have been great.
And then he like did a pop-up slide right in front of the bump.
Could you imagine
I was kind of
Billy's
tempted
face?
to do that.
Yeah, Billy's face.
Billy wouldn't. He was already out of the studio by the time I walked in, and he can't see 3 feet in front of his face. So.
Well, he gave us some good stuff. I was kind of hoping that he would give a little bit more detail about his trip, but whenever he told me that he hadn't had a hotel
he doesn't
booked,
know where he's doing. And I do want everybody to know, and by everybody, one man, these are Billy's headphones. So when he comes in here later this week and tries to accuse me of using the same headphones he did, these are his. I have mine in. We are not crossing headphone streams.
Good thing for you. By the time he comes back in the studio, he'll have forgotten that he was even on this show on Wednesday.
That's true.
Because he's flying out tomorrow, and this will be out of sight.
I don't understand how he does it. I really don't. I don't understand how he's going to get on a plane tomorrow morning, and he doesn't already have a hotel booked, and he doesn't have his return booked. Like, that would just give me insane anxiety to where I wouldn't be able to sleep.
I'm going to Salt Lake City next week to see Helam and Kasuga, and like I've already got my whole itinerary planned out.
So my dad, my 90-year-old grandfather, and I are going to Detroit in January. We have the entire 3 days planned already. That's the end of January. That's 5 months from now. We've got it all booked. We know exactly where we're eating for lunches on specific days and stuff like that.
He flies out in less than 24 hours, doesn't have a return flight, and doesn't have a place to stay.
It's amazing.
But it's legitimately par for the course with him when he travels.
Oh, yeah.
I've never traveled directly with him. We have gone places. You have.
I've traveled with him.
You've got a great story about getting to the airport. Y'all were going to Detroit, right?
Yeah, we went to Detroit to the Thursday night game in Detroit, Lions-Packers last year. It was December, I believe. December in Detroit, just beautiful. It's like 85 degrees outside. It's really nice. The sun's always shining. Just kidding. And we've got like a 9:30, maybe a 10 o'clock flight out of IAH, Intercontinental. And Billy's like, all right, yeah, pick me up at 8:15. I'm like, it's kind of, it's a little dicey. So, of course, I get to his house 15 minutes later or whatever, 15 minutes early, whatever the time he told me it was. And, of course, he still doesn't have his shoes on. He's making breakfast. I'm like, hey, man, you said we needed to be out of here. We get on 105, and they're doing construction just like, you know, where the
right
turn
before
off.
you get to 249.
Yeah, before you get to 249, and they've got it shut down to like one lane to where like the pace car's got to lead you through, and we're already pushing it for time, and we sit there going nowhere on 105 for like 15 minutes, and I'm anxious about it, and he is pissed about it, sitting in the passenger seat. And when we finally start moving, he looks at me from the passenger seat and he goes, "You better do some driving." And I'm like, "All right."
Well, thank God you were behind the wheel and not him.
And thank God once we got to we finally got to the airport, the line for security was like a ghost town.
Wow.
We got through, which is super rare there, right? Got through in no time. We had enough time to stop for coffee and for some food.
There are two events, two places that I go where I would rather be 2 hours early than 2 minutes late or feel like I'm running 2 minutes late. One of them is the airport.
And what's the other one?
Sporting event.
Yeah.
I can't stand showing up to a sporting event.
And he makes fun of us for that too. Like, and it's honestly something I've already been thinking about, because if we continue this show into the spring, right, and baseball season's going on,
we could probably start at 4 and go from 4 to 5:30.
4 to 5:30, but like games start at 6, and I like to be but Billy makes fun of me because I'll get to the ballpark 2 hours before first pitch and just hang out.
For sure. You know how many recruiting articles I've written from the press box at Bluebell Park? I filmed a couple of in-home visits from the press box at Bluebell Park.
I'll edit Olin columns. I'll edit basketball stuff. If we're like, I'll sit at the press box and just work.
Mr. Monaco's booth is very welcoming. Anybody can come and go, and you know, he gets there, and he and Miss Laura, his wife, get there 2 hours.
They take such good care of us too. Like all those snacks, that's just the hospitality of the Monaco family.
And so it's a fun time to just sit around and shoot the bull.
I don't know how he does that, by the way. And it's the same thing at football games. Like, people are, you know, he has an open door. People are welcome to come in to the booth there. But for me, I'm not comparing myself to him at all. But like when I call like Navasota high school baseball games, and like some dude will come talk to me. And again, if you're from Navasota and you come talk to me, I love it. But maybe when I'm close to airtime, maybe not. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm about to go on. Like I need to focus. Like, dude, you could walk in 2 minutes before his pregame show starts. Like, come on, yeah, good to see you.
Yeah.
Out of respect for Andrew Monaco, I always excuse myself from the booth like no later than 15 minutes before first pitch.
That
Just
didn't happen when me and Brauny called the game. You just set up shop
Well,
back
that's because I
there.
wanted to hang out with my boys, and I was super proud of my guy Nick Savage making his Texas A&M baseball debut.
The moral support made the difference. Trust me,
Nick. You don't get enough credit for how great of a job you do on stuff like that.
You've gotten so much better at calling games.
You're
you really
so
have.
good. And like,
thanks.
I wanted to do that when I was in school. Like I would do some play-by-play in high school. I did a summer with the Bombers. I did like 3 years with Texas A&M hockey. So I know it's not easy, and you make it look easy.
And you're learning from the pros pro, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, dude.
Monaco shows up. He's super prepared, notes on everything, pronunciation guide. And the games that I called with you at Bluebell, you were the exact same way. I, on the other hand, am the complete opposite.
I don't know
Well,
how
you
you
can do
do
that
it.
as a
I
color
have
guy.
no idea how you do it. But he does the same thing for like interviews and stuff. I have
Yeah.
no idea how you do it.
Yeah.
You could host the TexAgs live, you could host TexAgs live with no notes or anything. You could do 3 hours of radio. I could never.
When
The last couple of times I hosted in the summer, my planning on TexAgs Live was probably embarrassingly minimal.
When I started out and was like doing guest host stuff when Gabe was still doing TexAgs radio, like I would. Dalton Hughes told me after my first show, which was a complete train wreck disaster, I was underprepared. He used to tell me you should probably prepare 2 hours of the show for every 1 hour that's actually on air, just so you've got enough stuff you don't feel like you're running out of stuff. So I would do that for like a few years. Like if I'm hosting, I'm going to take 4 hours of my day the day before and prep. Now it's just like, yeah, I got some topics, I got the guests, we can do it.
See, I've got a rundown here that I've hit nothing on.
Yeah.
Billy, and here's the
That's
beauty
not true.
when you host.
You hit the you have on your rundown. You have a Luis Garcia hitting the IL, so you've hit one thing.
One
Good
thing
job.
on my to-do list today. But that's one thing that I learned when hosting Bellucci Hour with Billy was I over-prepared Bellucci Hour, and you can have 20 different topics for Billy. You're going to get to probably 2 of them, and then from there, everything's going to spin off, right? So you can over-prepare certain guests. There was a time that I was hosting TexAgs Live that I think we had it was before A&M played McNeese last year. David took some time off during the week, and we had the Southland Conference commissioner on the show.
Yeah.
And as a Southland Conference alum, undergrad alum, I didn't know much about the guy. And so I had to do some research and prep work. And so I think that the more that you sit in the host chair or the play-by-play chair, the more comfortable that you get. Play-by-play is infinitely harder than being the color guy.
Oh yeah.
Infinitely harder.
Oh yeah. And like when I thought I wanted to go into a field like what Mr. Monaco does now, I would prep. I do a lot of stuff 4 hours before the game, whatever. Seeing Andrew Monaco operate, it's like I have not done nearly.
Aggies have no idea how
succeed.
blessed they are to have Monaco as the
he's
play-by-play guy.
He's
Not
awesome.
only is he great on calls, but he is just a gem of a human being and couldn't be more giving of his time. And like when you talk to Andrew Monaco, he has the quality where he makes you feel like he's so invested in what you've got going on. He's the most selfless person, one of the most selfless people that I talked to. And Nick, you've gotten to know him really well too. It's like at some point early on, you're like, is this guy really this nice?
For sure, yeah. Like I say it all the time. Like I genuinely have a thought once or twice a day. Like, okay, how do I treat people like Andrew Monaco treats people? Like, how do I'm not wired that way personally. I like to. If I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to say it. Talk to people, go out of my way to do it. But he does, and he makes you feel like you're his best friend.
He does. And I will say, like, for those of you that have never had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Monaco, he is the exact person off air as he is on air. The voice is real, the belly laugh is real, and it just makes you feel good.
The only thing that's different is and he does more now in baseball broadcast.
Yeah.
He has a disdain for umpires, and it does come through his broadcast.
And to be
it's
fair,
hysterically
it's
funny.
pretty warranted when you've got to deal with the umpires in the Southeastern Conference. Those dudes
Mr. Head
stink.
and company. All right.
Scott Klein.
So this will be the part of the show. This is a We Learned Wednesday. I've got some topics prepared for that a little bit later. But this is the part of the show where Nick is going to tune out. Okay. because the first thing on my rundown is something that's been on my rundown a few times that we've never gotten to on the B team. The U.S. men's national team finally won a game last night.
USA.
Nick's a Patriot. He loves Team USA.
But he's not a soccer guy. That's
Sure.
why I was said. But
I don't know if I qualify as a soccer guy yet.
They go out and hire high-profile Mauricio Pochettino, former manager of the Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur.
Had him in a Champions League final. When's the last time Arsenal played in a Champions League final?
It's been a long time, 2002, I think.
That's crazy because Spurs never win anything until this year, and they were that close. Well,
anyway, so
Liverpool outplayed significantly.
Since Pochettino's been hired for the U.S. men's national team, it's been an abject disaster. They lost the Gold Cup. They have players that set out the goal, like key players, like Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, saying they didn't want to play.
Yeah, I remember watching the Gold Cup. They got to the final. They lost to Mexico, right? But it was like the kids against Mexico's A team, and they played. I remember they played kind of close. They only lost 1-0, right? Or did it get out of hand late?
I'd have to go back and look, but there has been a noticeable absence of first team players coming into these camps until this one, and this current camp that they're in, like. The big question that's been going around the soccer circles, and Clint Dempsey actually asked this on Men in Blazers with Roger Bennett, would this U.S. men's national team qualify for the World Cup if they had a traditional qualification? For those of you that aren't aware, the World Cup is in America next year. So the host nation, in this instance, they've expanded the field. So the U.S., Canada, and Mexico are all hosting games. They've all been received automatic bids to the World Cup. If this was a traditional qualifying cycle in the World Cup or elsewhere, would this U.S. men's national team qualify for the World Cup? And you got to legitimately ask yourself that. So it was good for me last night to see them play really well. Christian Pulisic had an assist. Folarin Balogun had a goal, who's one of their European players. They win 2-0 over a Japan team that's going to go to the World Cup, and a Japan team that typically finds themselves into the round of 16 or the knockout stages.
So I know how the traditional like qualification process goes. Like you gotta play all these matches in CONCACAF friendlies.
CONCACAF.
Yeah, CONCACAF. Sorry, CONCACAF. Is like for Team USA, for Mexico, for Canada, are they just playing friendlies through all the international breaks?
So they're having a schedule like rotating, and like the Asian region gets done with their qualification early. So that's why they played South Korea and Japan.
Sun Heung-min.
And Korea beat them 2-0. They beat Japan 2-0. I get really into World Cup. I love the World Cup.
Oh yeah, I think the World Cup is awesome. Actually, I'll take it a step further. Anything where like your national team in any sport is playing, I get really into it. Like World Baseball Classic a few years ago, USA versus Japan in the final. Obviously, Ohtani struck out Trout. That made international headlines. It was such a great event. USA Baseball obviously had a fantastic team, and if it weren't a one-off, they might have beat Japan. That I get super into that. I'll watch every single team, every single game USA Baseball plays.
And they're playing some in Houston.
I know. I'm already excited for that. My aunt's a Stroh's season ticket holder, so I'm going to try and hit up my Aunt Cheryl and be like, hey, can I go with you on like a Wednesday night when A&M baseball is not playing? Hopefully the schedules work out. I've never once been to an international sporting event where it's like your national team's playing somebody else. So that's something I'd love to experience. Every single December, January, right around the new year, they do the World Juniors Hockey Tournament. I get super into that. I love watching USA Hockey. USA Hockey just won the Men's Senior World Championship for the first time in like 72 years this past summer. That was awesome. Had so much fun watching that. What was the
hockey tournament that generated all the buzz? Canada ended up beating the U.S. in the finals.
That was the Four Nations tournament. That was an NHL-sanctioned event. That was a ton of fun. And then, so we've got the World Cup coming up next summer. In February, we have the Olympics, Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina, Italy. It's the first time since 2010 that the NHL is releasing its players to go play for their national teams. So you're actually going to have best on best this time at the Olympics. That's going to be awesome. Sorry, 2014 in Sochi was the last time because that's when you had TJ Oshie. That's going to be awesome. Then in March, you're going to get another World Baseball Classic.
Let's talk about that World Baseball Classic roster.
And then in the summer, the World Cup on United States home soil. It's going to be
Houston and Dallas are hosting group stage games.
It's going to be super cool.
That U.S. World Baseball Classic roster, obviously, it's not completed yet. But if all the Americans play, which has been an issue in the past. I think the last one was the closest they got to, hey, those are the best players this country has.
Yeah.
The pitching staff for USA Baseball, if they all elect to play, is going to be the best assembly of pitching talent the world has ever seen.
Skubal, Skeens, Wheeler, Brown. Yeah, I mean, just those 4 guys immediately off the top of my head. Who else am I missing?
Max Fried.
Max Fried's been fantastic. I mean, they're always going to have an old dude. It would be super cool to watch Kershaw get a couple innings against walkover.
I get it. It's
That'd
nostalgia for you.
Because they let Wainwright do it.
I know.
They let Lance Lynn do it.
Awful.
Yeah, they didn't
Lance
look
Lynn
great.
looked like me on the mound.
I know Kershaw was actually signed up to be on that team the last time they did it, and then he had to back out because of the toe injury or whatever. But
So-
just think about position by position. Catcher, I think you got to Cal Raleigh or Will Smith.
Cal Raleigh's already accepted the invitation.
Awesome.
The captain will be Aaron Judge.
Yeah. So
Bobby Witt Jr. is your shortstop.
at first base, who do you go with?
Well, you're putting me on the spot here.
I know. Second base, I can't really think of one either. Right.
I'm looking through this
At
real quick.
second
I'm kind of
base-
cheating.
At second base, if Bobby Witt's going to be your shortstop, I'd put Mookie Betts there.
Constructing the perfect Team USA starting lineup. This is from Bleacher Report. I do have some discrepancies here. Bobby Witt at short, Mookie at second, Kyle Tucker in left field. I don't know.
He's had a bad year.
Bryce Harper at first base. I don't hate that.
I like that a
I
lot.
actually call Schwarber.
I like that a lot. Well, I think Schwarber's going to be your DH.
They have Trout at DH. I'd take Schwarber. Gunnar Henderson at third base. I'd have to think about it. Machado flip-flops on who he's playing for.
He's going to be a Dominican.
And then Adley Rutschman behind the plate.
No, wrong.
It'll be Cal Raleigh and probably Will Smith.
Will Smith's got to be the second.
And they have a guy in center field who I don't I'd have to go look through all the American-born players and who's having good years. But I don't hate this name, Jackson Merrill.
He hadn't had a great year. He's had a sophomore slump, but he's starting to pick it up now that the Padres are in a pennant chase with my Dodgers.
Somebody in the
But
chat.
he's a good player.
We're missing some guys here. I know we are.
Yeah.
But it was just top of
We're
my.
gonna have
I wish I should have prepped this part of the show.
Just think about who you could have at shortstop.
It's a good run of American shortstops right now.
Yes, a really, really good run. Probably the best we've seen since the 90s and early 2000s.
You think? Bregman's been hurt, but he was having a great year before he got hurt. There's still some guys hanging around.
Bregman could play third base.
Yeah.
Betts could play right field. If you move Judge to center field.
You think Mookie Betts is still at that level?
He's had a bad year. He's having the statistically his worst year as a big leaguer. But since the beginning of August, I want to say he's hitting like 280, 290. Like he's still a really, really good player. He is absolutely still at that level.
MLB rank 2025 in-season update, top 50 players. This will give us a good insight.
I would say he's out of the top 50.
They have Judge 2, Judge 1, Shohei 2.
Wrong.
Tariq Skubal 3, Cal Raleigh 4, Bobby Witt 5. And the pitching staff's going to be crazy. What about Pete Crow Armstrong?
Pete Crow Armstrong, that's a really good shout. Sorry to Matthew Dawson for leaving that out.
Garrett Crochet had a great year in Boston.
Really good. Really, really good.
The Dominican team's going to be loaded, as usual, with freak athletes. They got Will Smith, number 16. You always talk about how good of a player he is.
He is really, really good.
Corbin Carroll in the outfield.
That's another oversight. Really good player. He's also he hadn't had that great of a year this year, by his standards. But he also doesn't have any help around him.
Byron Buxton's had a good year. He's getting up there in age, but again, this USA team, I think they should win it, especially if all those guys that are pitchers are going to play. That staff is going to be filthy.
Yep, I agree.
The starting rotation.
Fun to watch.
All right, so we started talking about U.S. men's national team soccer. Inevitably, we end up on USA baseball.
I'm not paying attention to the U.S. men's national team right now just because I know they're in. Just want to see them get rounded into form before the World Cup begins. And you've still got so many months before that happens. What, 9 months before it starts? 10 months?
Something.
Yeah, so you've got a ton of time. But yeah, as long as the guys start showing up and doing camps on these international breaks with Pochettino, that learn the system,
it's got to start happening.
You're going to have to do it.
No more time taking time off to rest yourself. It's got to happen, or you're going to get embarrassed on home soil. today on ESPN.com, there was an article, and I apologize because I do not have the authors in front of me. I think I do mean authors, though, because I do think it was a joint effort. They talked about coaches on the hot seat after 2 weeks of college football. Okay, now I will let you and Nick, or y'all have seen this because I sent it in the rundown, so never mind. I was going to make y'all guess on who they were. Some of these are very obvious. We talked about them yesterday. Billy Napier.
Number one, I think, unless he does something insane, he's out.
He saved his job last year. And what I said yesterday was that DJ Lagway saved his job last year.
Yes.
And if DJ's not healthy, I don't know that there's going to be a rescue job happening for the remainder of this fall, especially with that schedule.
I think the rescue job's going to happen in January, if that's what the proposed new transfer portal window is, when DJ Lagway gets rescued from Gainesville.
It'll be interesting, though, because, they sign these NIL deals, and Lagway has been loyal to Billy Napier, but what's on the market? In this article,
loyal to that Billy Napier, loyal to that paycheck.
They talked about DJ Lagway. Do you know where his dad played college football?
I do not.
At Baylor.
Oh.
Interestingly enough.
Sawyer Robertson, after he wins a Heisman's going first overall.
So that's what they were speculating. I mean, there's so many twists and turns along the way for that to even be remotely a reality. But it was interestingly enough.
What if Arch Manning turns out to be the truth and he goes, and then DJ Lagway's the guy they bring in?
I think that'd be more feasible because there was not a name on this hot seat list.
Yeah.
And it was Dave Aranda.
Dave Aranda's not on the hot seat?
That was surprising to me.
That defense just looks atrocious. And he's a defensive-minded head coach.
There are going to be some fun viewing games in Waco this year. If you are a fan of the Baylor Bears, have some Tums ready. Because they're going to be back and forth, seems like. They score the ball. I mean, they can score points.
I mean, it seemed like a vintage Big 12 team, or at least from a few years ago when TCU and Baylor were going at it constantly.
Yeah.
In that one game where they scored
I hope the Big 12's back to that.
61-58.
Yeah.
I like when the Big 12's like that.
I do too.
I went to a game one year. It was when they were playing the Butt Bowl, BU versus TT, Baylor Tech at Jerry World, and Patrick Mahomes was there. There were 50 points scored before halftime. It was insane.
Prime Big 12 viewing for me.
This is stupid.
Give me that every week. Playing. All right, Billy Napier, number one. I think he's fired until he does something.
Yeah, he stinks.
Positively, he's fired. I'm just viewing Billy Napier as fired. Brent Pry, Virginia Tech. We've talked about the Hokies this week twice now, which is more than we should probably talk about them, and that means that he is in a bad spot. If this show, the B Team in College Station, Texas, is talking about the Virginia Tech Hokies a lot, that means they're either doing something crazy good or crazy bad. This instance, they're putrid. They're really bad. Again, 20-10 last weekend. They're leading Vanderbilt at halftime. The Commodores rip off 34 unanswered and beat them by 24. Mike Gundy on this list.
He should be number one to me. It's just it's just been a free fall for them for a while now, it seems like.
Well, he's a man that's going to enjoy retirement at age, let's see, he did I'm a Man, I'm 40 in 2008? 7?
It was like 50. Just the anniversary of it wasn't too long ago.
He's 58.
So that was 18 years ago.
Yeah.
2007. God, we're getting old.
Time out. You're getting old.
How old were you in 2007?
2007.
You were not a man.
I was 10.
You're a boy. You're 10.
Yeah, I was 3 years away from being a man. How
old were you, Nick?
8.
See, that's so crazy that happened. But I think all good things coming to an end, and the Gundy era in Stillwater is approaching. That's a really interesting hire too. Yes, I think
State's
because hold on, no. I think they're viable in the Big 12 because of the funding that they've got with Boone Pickens' family. So I think they're going to go, and we're going to get into a list of names that could be potential candidates for a lot of these jobs going forward, at least what ESPN thought this morning. I think they're going to go get a gimmicky guy, just like Gundy when he came in was a gimmicky guy.
But Gundy, when he came in, he was like the prodigal son.
Sure, and I don't know that guy's out there. I don't know if there's any Oklahoma State alums that are circulating the coaching world at a lower level that they're ready to pull the trigger on. But I do think Mike Gundy, barring some sort of crazy turnaround,
Jeff Traylor, come on down,
be an interesting hire up there. I think that'd also be an interesting hire in Waco. Deshaun Foster at UCLA absolutely deserves to be on that list. Somehow they missed out our top 5 losers. I think you maybe had him on there, or maybe Cade brought it to our attention yesterday.
I'm just glad that he knows what city he's in.
I watched, and when I went back and thought about, like, how did I forget? Because I was watching Kansas State Army, who lost to Tarleton the week before, went in there and beat K-State, a team that had Big 12 title aspirations.
That's crazy.
They look like a complete shell of themselves, and like Billy said, whenever he was on here, that may get interesting if they choose to move on from climbing.
Yeah,
with their prodigal son here calling the offense in Aggieland. But long way to go before that happens. And then I was watching UCLA, UNLV, like clicking back and forth, or maybe I had it on my multi-view, and I'm going, surely UCLA is not going to lose in Las Vegas. And Nico just kept making bonehead play after bonehead play.
Which is such a shame because we talked about it like last week or the week before about how good their colors are.
And it was like a color rush game because they were more appealing. They were wearing their home jerseys against.
They do that every year. It's color on color, UCLA versus USC. It is the most aesthetically pleasing college football game on the planet.
Well, they were doing it the other day, I believe, against UNLV. It was pretty cool. I liked it. Luke Fickell was on this list.
I forgot. Where is he eating now?
Wisconsin.
Oh, I lost track of him after he left Cincinnati because I always thought he'd be the next guy at Ohio State.
And I'm sure he took that job at Wisconsin going, with all the stuff about Ryan Day always being on the hot seat because he can't beat Michigan. And then he doesn't beat Michigan last year and wins a national title. And in the meantime, with Luke Fickell and Madison, he's really struggled. And that was a program that had a very distinct style for so many years when they were really consistently good under Barry Alvarez.
Why is Matthew Dawson watching this and tuning in on the chat? Doesn't he have content to shoot?
He just came back down here.
Oh, so they're done. That's good. That means I'm going to be done working earlier than
content manager Zane never sleeps.
Can maybe we mic up Matthew Dawson to get his takes. His fraud alert has been suspended for a week. So I do want to see what he's on this week for college football. Is he still back there, Nick?
Let's get Matthew Dawson's takes and let's get Luke Evangelist to roll up these headphones. Put them away.
Is Dawson anywhere to be found?
Yeah, I let him know. He's moving his way up.
He's spraying into action. You just can't see him because he's so little.
You know what I missed on? Okay, so let's keep going. A couple of interesting. Well, they had David Braun at Northwestern. I don't know enough about that, nor do I care about how hot his seat is in Evanston, Illinois. No Mark Stoops on this list.
That's shocking to me.
They're bad.
They're real bad.
But what is accepted there? And
they just don't care.
They've got so much money tied up in basketball each year. How can you have elevated expectations and aspirations for your football program whenever a lot of your budget gets sunk into the hardwood? And do they care that Mark Stoops is perpetually 6 to 8 wins? I mean, he's had some good years where they got to 9. Or they came into A&M. What was that, 2018 or 2019 when Travion walked him off? A&M wore the throwback 1998 jerseys, probably 2018.
That was I was working for TexAgs at the time. Was I? No, it must have been 2018.
I think it was 2018.
So it was the year before I got here.
That was the 1998 Big 12 championship team.
20 years.
Honors, to they honored them after 20 years with those jerseys. Still my favorite helmet. I love the TAM on those helmets more than anything that they've put out. And so no Stoops on that list, and then no Bill Belichick on that list. I've just not of the illusion that Bill Belichick is going to stay in Chapel Hill through the duration of his.
Well, so I don't have any issue with Bill Belichick.
Stand back here.
I don't have any issue with Bill Belichick not being on the list, right? Because this is coaches on the hot seat. It means coaches they're going to fire. I agree with you that I don't see Belichick, living out the term of his contract, but they're not going to fire him after 1 year.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Dawson has joined the show. He is officially out of fraud jail.
For now.
He is out on bail, but potentially could return to jail depending on how this week goes. Were you surprised? So we were talking about this article for ESPN this morning where they were talking, they were writing about coaches on the hot seat after 2 weeks. They have Dave Aranda on their coaches whose seats have cooled. Is beating SMU that big of a deal for his tenure in Waco?
I don't know. I think there was a number, if he didn't get to wins wise, that he would be fired after this year. I think like winning that game proves that like they can get to 8 wins, like 9 wins. Like that you got a really nice, you're doing better in the transfer portal because for years, Dave Aranda wasn't even using the transfer portal.
I agree. And he's done his roster looks better. And to your credit, they are scoring points. You called that. They are scoring points.
I did not call the inverse. So
that's one thing that you were kind of bullish on. You're like, Dave Aranda will figure the defense
That's what
out.
I know. And I guess he's got time, but like it looks pretty unfixable right now. Kevin Jennings like didn't have an incomplete pass up until like halftime. He was like 15 of 15.
But again, that's what I want. And I know SMU's not in the Big 12, but I want my Big 12 football to look like that.
Yeah, I do too. It was awesome. On the CW.
Well, you wanted to be so bad and you just wanted to be entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we get another game
on the CW.
We get another game on the CW
Can we talk?
this week.
Well, that's the ACC's conference, like part of their TV deal. That's nuts to me. They're playing games on the CW.
A top 25 matchup is going to be on the CW this week.
What game?
Insane.
Miami USF.
Yeah.
Is on the CW
like
this
TexAgs
week.
Live.
Yeah.
The same station that carries TexAgs Live.
Exactly.
You can chase TexAgs Live on a Friday morning, followed up the next morning with USF.
All right, what are some plays that you like this week?
Like Texas.
What are some plays I like this week? Louisiana Tech, New Mexico State, under 42.
This is why you're
immediately
a sicko.
goes with a group of 5
You're
games.
such a sicko.
Immediately.
I'm just saying, like, why
You
is that
should be
number
hospitalized?
Okay. Can you name a single player on either of those teams?
No, and neither can you.
Logan
You should
Fife?
be committed. You should be committed. You should
All right.
be
Hold,
committed.
time out. Let's do this so everybody knows.
I won't explain why. Just know that under 42 and a half is getting played.
Under 42 and a half. Who's the head coach at La Tech?
Oh my gosh, you just put me on the spot.
No.
Oh, no.
What about New Mexico State?
Oh no.
Tony Sanchez. I mean, we played him last year. So.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
where are you at on this? So I saw Big Cat at Barstool is very high on Coach Eck at New Mexico.
Jason Eck, I freaking love Jason Eck.
See, this is why his brain
He
is-
comes from Idaho. He brought his quarterback too.
Right.
Stud. I mean, kind of. I mean, he's all right. Jason Lane or something. I think that's his name. Dude runs.
How'd you forget Sonny Cumbie?
Well, because he's gonna get fired this year. That's why. You want to name hot seat guys? The national media like doesn't care about Louisiana Tech, but that's a guy that's getting fired this year. That guy
They
stinks.
played LSU pretty well last week, or did LSU sleepwalk?
I don't know. Like remember last year they had that game against Nicholls State where they just kind of sleptwalked? I mean, that was like week 2 as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know. I don't know what the deal
All
is
right,
there.
explain your under for New Mexico State La Tech and why that was the first game and first total that came out of your mouth.
Why did
here.
that like?
Well, it's because I was trying to think of all
New
like my
Mexico
bets for this
State
week.
lot.
I only have like 5 of them that I think I like, but that was just like an obvious one just because I was like, oh, what came to my mind? And I thought,
Nothing goes.
I'm normally on an under. I'm like, what under my on? Oh, yeah, Louisiana Tech, New Mexico State. Both
Time out.
teams, like,
He said the word obvious to describe New Mexico State.
You are going to be one of the few
Louisiana
people in this county locked in on that game.
here's the thing, though. Like, if I check the line now, it's possible that it's moved down to like 41 and a half because hashtag the Sharps are all
The
over it.
Sharps are all over
The
it.
Sharps are all over it.
It's
But,
obvious.
I mean, Logan Fife is probably the best player in this game. Evan Bullock is the quarterback for Louisiana Tech. He freaking stinks. This game last year went to overtime, and it was the most disgusting football that I've ever watched. And they don't have much better rosters, like, at all.
Yeah,
At
you're a
all.
sicko.
I'm
Okay,
just saying.
can you? All right, because your betting brain is in here. I want to ask you about 2 lines before I let you go.
Okay.
Are you surprised that the Vandy South Carolina State line is that big? I thought it would be closer to like 3.5 or 4.
Oh, you didn't think it would be like 5.5, 6.5?
No, I think
Really?
Vandy can win the game.
It's on the road. That's the thing.
Yeah,
And it's
but
like from a power rating perspective.
you have a common opponent though.
You do. And that is like a piece of the data, and I think like when you're picking it, I get why people are really quick to say Vanderbilt, oh, common opponent, but like the transitive property like doesn't work always in football. You know what I'm saying?
What about South Carolina being whatever against South Carolina State? Doesn't move the needle at all for you?
What do you mean? Like being bad?
Yeah, they were bad. They
Yeah, they
had
were
2
not that
punt
great.
returns in the first half. Lenore Sellers was 2 for 8 for
Well,
20 yards.
So you have to think about it like everything in like betting and like these lines, like it is reactionary to information, right? So you had previous information of like the talent of this team and like what players you were returning from a production standpoint. And 2 game sample size, I guess, is not enough to move that needle past what the preseason expectations were for Vanderbilt. So from a power ratings perspective, South Carolina, like preseason, this line is probably like 12 or 13 points.
Okay.
And it has been brought down by at least a touchdown, in my opinion. I don't know what that opening line would have been or what it was preseason, but the market is reactionary to new information, but not that reactionary.
That's a good segue into is Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's favored by 6.5. Is it still holding the line there?
That's what they took it at today.
In some places it's at 7.
Okay, so again, is that how much stock can you put in that number, given the fact that Notre Dame has only played once on the road and A&M's played 2 G4s?
Yeah, I don't know. I think about like the preseason expectations for Notre Dame, right? Like you had them power rated. Probably they were favored on the road against a Miami team that was probably power rated top 12 team in the country. I mean, so you lose by, what was it, 3?
And I thought watching the game, just my eyes told me that Miami was better than what the score difference was, right?
Dominating, yeah. But the thing is, like, say you say you lose to a team like that even by like 10 points, like it's not gonna like knock you all the way down. You know what I'm saying? I am surprised it's that many points. Like I would have had that as like 4.5. Like I only have Notre Dame probably being like a 1.5 better than A&M on a neutral site, in my opinion. But I don't know. Like I get what you're saying. I thought that number is
4.5. Yeah, again. So maybe that's our maroon tinted glasses. I think A&M can win the game. I'm not certain. I wouldn't predict that they are, but there's clearly a path. When I watched Notre Dame play the other day, I'm like, not super explosive. Now, they're going to run the football down A&M's throat. That's going to limit possessions. But where the deficiencies that I saw at Notre Dame were up front on their defensive line, I thought Miami moved them all night. And then they had real problems with that little Malachi Tony in the slot, like chasing a guy that's really quick. So, and Notre Dame likes to play man defense. So I think A&M can have, like this, everybody's talking about it's a bad matchup for A&M, but on the flip side, I think A&M's going to have opportunities to move the football.
Yeah, I think they're going away from some of that man defense. I think that's part of the reason they brought in Chris Ash, because Al Golden was like, we are going to live and die, literally die by man coverage at the end of the Ohio State game. And so I think Chris Ash will bring
Ash, who hasn't called defense since 2020 in college. Does that make it more difficult for A&M to game plan?
I don't know, because I listened to Chris Ash talk about like stuff that he's bringing from the NFL to college, and I don't necessarily think it's apples to oranges, but it'll be really interesting to see how they call that game and how they deal, like you said, with Mario Craver in the slot. Like DeMonta Smith, I think he's a decent player. I don't know that he's consistently covering Craver in one-on-one.
There's one Leonard Moore, and I imagine he's going to follow 7 around.
And look, I've watched Christian Gray a lot. He could have a great game this weekend. I don't think Christian Gray is particularly an amazing number 2 cornerback.
And there's a kid, Ashton Bethel-Roman hasn't gotten off yet, but he has got the potential to have one of these games like Craver and Concepcion have had, where he goes for 8 catches for 120, 130, because he's a big yak, can really run after the catch.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. You're missing a big safety over the top there as well. Like, I mean, looking at stuff over the top, you could dial in that deep ball a little bit.
This is a more winnable game to me than A&M playing Notre Dame here last year.
A lot of people have said that.
I don't know. I think the home road split is a big deal. I think it's a big deal, the home road split. You know what I'm saying? Like if we were playing, if these two teams were
stadium.
Yeah, I actually have.
Really?
I saw Miami, Ohio play there.
Okay.
It's a bit archaic. You know?
Yeah, I've heard it's not a great atmosphere.
I like
when
that
did you see it? Like, when did you go?
2018.
Oh, so yeah, you were there the same year I was there. I saw Michigan and Notre Dame play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've heard it's not real boisterous.
I mean, it's a ball, so the sound goes up instead of down.
Yeah, and they don't want to like do renovations or anything. There's no advertisements.
They've done renovations. The concourse is actually really nice.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know where you were at.
Well, yeah,
I mean, everybody says it's just not. It's not going to be an SEC crowd like Davis Wade the other night in Starkville was nuts.
Did you watch TexAgs live this morning?
No.
Charlie Weiss said that.
Oh,
Charlie Weiss said that you guys at Kyle Field, like you guys get after it. Notre Dame's a little bit different.
So I don't know, and I like Marcel's experience going into a place like that, all the games he's played in, and I still don't know what to think about CJ Carr and those receivers. Jordan Faison, really talented. Jaden Greathouse, talented, but I think he played a little bit above his head last year due to the offense that he was in with Riley Leonard. We'll see. I feel good that A&M can be in the game very, very late. They were last year, and I think that was a better Notre Dame team and a worse A&M team.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And also like the Riley Leonard factor. I forget who I was talking about this with, but like him adding that dimension to that offense on third down, fourth down, like important downs and in the red zone, those legs and that strength and that will to win, like it changes games. Even if like he's not generating explosive play after explosive play, but how many times like was he just slipping through tackles on these important third downs, retaining possession of the ball, giving his defense a break, and making the offensive line look better than they probably even were last year.
Yeah.
And these are this 4 of the 5 guys that are starting this week are 4 of the 5 same guys that were there last year.
Now they're missing Jagishaw and they're missing the starting tight end, right?
Yeah.
But Reardon had a good night. Reardon had a good night against
he was
Miami.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and he was clearly like their number one. He had 9 targets, 5 catches for like 90-some yards. Like, he's good. He's solid. But the offensive line, like, how many times did we talk about, like, yeah, the offensive line was good, and the run game, we gave up some explosive plays last year, but, I mean, the breakaway ability, the escape ability of Riley Leonard last year, like, how many of those times that would have been generating negative plays, how many times would that have completely changed the
And
game?
I think
just a couple of those.
Speed, like, so CJ Carr may be faster than Riley Leonard. Maybe, I don't know, but he looks like he moves faster.
I don't
but
think
that doesn't mean
playing
he's
faster.
and that doesn't mean he's
Third
harder to
game,
sack.
It's his 3rd game.
Right. And that doesn't mean he's harder to sack. Riley Leonard, because of the experience and because of his just mind and his physical strength, like you mentioned, Dawson, like he fights off more sacks. Like Lenore Sellers can do it because he's fast, but he's also so strong, he just shakes people off. So I don't think that CJ Carr has that play strength that Riley Leonard had. So if you get your hands on him, you're going to get him to the ground more. Can A&M hold up and not give up explosives in the run game? Huge question. Massive question. Game-altering question to me. Dawson, you're more than welcome on the B team anytime, buddy.
It's good to see
Thank
that
you,
you're out
gentlemen.
of fraud jail.
Yeah.
Well, for
Your
now.
lawyer must have been a you-know-who.
Hey, look, Sawyer Robertson Heisman odds, they're ticking in the right direction.
What about
It's on-
Marcel Reed Heisman odds if he goes on the road and wins?
Well, he's like plus 3,500 right now. If you want to get him at good odds and you think A&M's going to win this week, like, this is probably the week.
Good time to throw some money at it.
I will not be one who does that, but if you are interested in that and you want to get him, like, it's right now that you have to get him.
Your mic is still on, by the way, so don't say anything crazy walking out of here.
Okay.
Dynamite drop in from Matthew Dawson. You know, we've had 2 guests on the B team today. You never know what you're going to get.
feel like
Actually,
I'm the
most of the
guest.
time, you're going to get me and Richard. Back to that article at ESPN. Seats have cooled for Hugh Freeze. I agree. I think Auburn's going to win 7, 8, 9 games this year. I think they're trending the right direction. They look much better than I thought they would. They have Sam Pittman on here, and my comment was, really?
Yeah,
Because they've beaten nobodies and beaten nobody's bad?
Sam Pittman's.
Brent Venables, I would say if your exclamation is that he cooled his seat for now, agreed. But their schedule, he's going to have plenty more opportunities to go right back on it.
Yeah.
And then the final one was Dave Aranda. And again, you beat SMU, cool. But Auburn came in there and physically whipped you. And you don't play any defense. At least you haven't so far. There could be a change in Waco. I'm not ready to say his seat has cooled at all. And then the interesting part about this was the potential candidates. And the first thing they listed, and it's like nobody pays attention to this stuff. I was like scratching my head upstairs when I read it. Dan Lanning. We know that contract is built, so the buyout is astronomical. Like Florida's not paying Dan Lanning's buyout. I don't think Alabama is playing Dan Lanning's buyout.
Somebody in the YouTube comment just said that Dawson's kind of sus.
He's sus.
Yeah. Just wait till you meet Evangelist.
Evangelist is going to be on the show at some point.
Sus.
And then, so Lane Kiffin was also on this potential candidates list. I think Lane is probably at the end of his rope in Oxford. And
he's always looking to move.
And we'll take one of these jobs. I don't want to see Lane Kiffin in Gainesville. I think that's a pretty deadly combination. My folks over there in Florida think that's got a real possibility of happening.
I don't
They're going to recruit. He's going to recruit better athletes than he's ever recruited there.
Well, better athletes there than he was able to recruit at USC.
I mean, it's in the neighborhood, but that was back when I think Florida has all the tools for him to be really, really good.
Florida's got all the tools for a lot of coaches to be really, really good, and more often than not. Most
I'm not a
of them
Lane
get it
Kiffin
wrong.
fan as a human. Don't get me wrong.
I don't think that's
it's
as
not a
scary of a
prerequisite.
combination that you think it is. I think give Lane Kiffin enough time, he's going to mess it up on his own.
Jed Fish was also on this list, and I think the shine has kind of wore off him in Washington.
Yeah,
He had done such a good job of getting himself in the spotlight at Arizona and attracting national attention to a program that doesn't get it. And then he went up to Washington where Kalen DeBoer had brought them national attention. But I think it's so easy to get lost in the Pacific Northwest unless you're winning at the rate that Dan Lanning's winning.
Yeah.
And really the Oregon program. That's been the the gem of the Northwest. Okay, we learned Wednesday. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. I've got to get off to baseball practice. Did anybody have anything prepped here?
I know you did.
I did, but I didn't know if any of you have learned anything in the last week.
Nothing that really comes to mind like immediately.
I should have sent myself links for these origins.
I don't know. Learning a lot today.
Interesting day in world news. Okay, let me find. I have two origins of phrases. If I can remember what I did with the link, I will read them. Here it is. Okay, it's raining cats and dogs.
Okay, I'm in.
Houses had thatched roofs, thick straw piled high with no wood underneath. It was the only place for animals to get warm, so all the cats and other small animals, mice, bugs, etc., lived in the roof. When it rained, it became slippery, and sometimes the animals would slip and fall off the roof. Hence the saying, it's raining cats and dogs. There was nothing to stop things from falling into the house. This posed a real problem in the bedroom where bugs and other droppings could mess up your nice, clean bed. Therefore, a bed with big posts and sheet hung over the top afforded some protection. That's how canopy beds came into existence. Interesting.
So you learned two things.
I didn't even...
You learned the reasoning behind the phrase, it's raining cats and dogs. And two, you learned why canopy beds exist.
I didn't even... If that would not have been part of it's raining cats and dogs, how many canopy beds have you seen in your life? I mean, I see them every now and then. They're not super common, but I never would have thought... Why are the posts so high, and why is there anything hanging over the bed?
Yeah, the canopy bed just seems like a very girly, princessy thing. Like when my sister was young.
Did you ever?
Young, they had canopy beds. That's about it.
Did you or anybody in your house ever have a waterbed?
No, did not.
My parents used to have a waterbed. It was. I could not believe. I mean, somebody made $1 bajillion on those things in the 90s. They were so uncomfortable. They were like fun to play on as a kid, like jump on them because it was legitimately like unstable surface. But I could not imagine them being fun to sleep on. It was a 90s phenomenon. There was a bunch of them then. I'm okay, fighting through it. I got to go coach a baseball practice, and I'm going to be screaming and yelling, so I'll probably get some water on the way. Speaking of water, my other We Learned Wednesday phrase, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Baths used to consist of a tub filled with hot water. The man of the house had the privilege of a nice, clean water, then all the other sons and men, then the women, and finally the children, last of all the babies. By then, the water was so dirty you could actually lose someone in it. Hence the saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Man, it would have been nice to take my baths and my showers first. But like every time we would go on a family vacation or trip, I was always relegated. There's only 4 of us too. I'm always relegated to the last slot in the bathroom to the point.
You were the baby?
But I'm not. My sister's younger than me. It's just me and my sister. Like I was always like the last one. They relegated me to being getting ready last, I guess, because I'm supposed to take the least amount of time. But like by the time I'm like getting out of the shower, my mom's like, "Can you hurry up? We need to go." And it's like that's my impersonation of my mom.
I'm sure she's listening. We'll be very thrilled with that. Are you a bath guy?
No, absolutely not. Showers.
Nick, not paying attention, or yes?
No, I'm listening. I do not take baths.
When's the last time you took a bath?
Probably when I was a child.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Same.
name it.
Do you have a bathtub in your house? In
Yeah.
your apartment?
Sure, I have a
Yeah,
house.
we do too. He's got a house.
I don't own it,
I have an
but
apartment. We do have a bathtub.
I don't hate a bath, but I have lower back I've got some bulging disc in my back, and so like a warm bath does, like when I get home it feels good. And not top 5 Tuesday, but and really not, it won't even count as a bath, but post yard work, post mowing the lawn, shower, elite. But one of the best showers on the planet. Maybe we save that for next week. Top 5 showers.
If you were, when you were a kid, or I guess when you were kind of a young adult, since considering how long you played, but like after playing like an afternoon game, got real dirty, maybe slid into second a few times, maybe head first home, kind of got like the dirt has crept through your socks.
Oh yeah,
getting in the shower. That's an elite shower.
It's an elite shower. After game coaching or playing is a very good shower. After practice, anything that where you have been outside, not just for a little bit, but an extended period of time, I think, or I will go cold shower in those instances. I say cold, like it's just a little bit of warm water. It's mostly cold.
Cold shower's a good move.
But I also believe that I have had undiagnosed a heat episode during one of the weekends I was coaching in Franklin, Texas.
Had a lot of undiagnosed things.
And we did the thermometer or the thermometer at the plate, the laser one. It was 138 degrees on the turf.
Sure.
That day, our second game, me and the other coach decided we called it after 5 innings. We had guys in the dugout that were just like their cleats were melting off.
That's
the
crazy.
glued element where your cleat meets the actual shoe. They were melting off. We had those DeWalt fans, those little personal DeWalt fans. We had probably 7, 8 of them in the dugout. It didn't matter. And so I went up to the other coach. I said, "What are we doing here, man? Like the kids were in high school, but there were no college scouts there. Like the result of this game doesn't matter. Let's just call it at the end of this inning." And we got out of there.
So
it was
won?
awful.
Did you guys win?
We lost to Kyle Chapman out of Houston. Tanner Witt that pitched at Texas.
Yeah.
He was the assistant coach coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Oh.
And his dad, Kevin Witt, was the head coach. And so these guys that are high-level college baseball players and former big leaguers also said, yeah, the outcome of this game really doesn't matter. The safety of these kids is more important.
Let's get out of here.
Yet we have, at the highest level of baseball, how many times do the big leaguers play twice in a day?
Very, very rare.
Very rare. But you go to a 10-year-old tournament on a Sunday and you got these kids playing 7 games in a day to win a plastic trophy that cost 14 cents. Make that make sense.
Can't.
You can't. We've got to do something with that. But as long as the money's changing hands, nothing's going to change on that front. But we're doing our best to try to fight it. All right. Tomorrow on the show, like we said, Thunderdome Thursday. I don't know the best way that we're going to do this. We are going to consume water.
I still don't understand this whole idea you've got. I really don't. And I guess I'm going to learn on the fly, which means I won't have a strategy for this, which means I'm set up to fail on Thunderdome Thursday.
This is what I am proposing, is that we have a conversation about it, how we make it fair, because if we are just doing volume of consumption, whether it be food or drink, in a contest between me, you, and Cade, I'm obviously going to have an upper hand. So I think we got to do it as a percentage. And we're going to drink water. And who can drink the most water?
Without peeing?
Ooh, that might be another, an added hurdle to this. You pee, you're out. I don't know. That's just that's what I'm workshopping right now. So it will be a no energy, those energy drinks that we have. I like them, and Nick has got his stash in the back, but they make you have to pee.
They do that.
So I think I will be avoiding any type of that tomorrow in preparation. And this is going to be one of the healthier Thunderdome Thursdays that we do. I have had somebody reach out to me about the escalating peppers that are going to donate them to the show. Richard is shaking his head that he's out on eating hot peppers. Nick, would you be in?
Make Evangelist be in. Evangelist.
He does say that
Evangelist was all over that stuff when we did it last week.
Yeah, Luke, you can give Luke credit for this. He'll do whatever You
For the
want him
bit?
to do for the brand or the bit.
He will do whatever it takes.
He's been surprisingly
whatever it takes to get a like or a retweet.
surprisingly, he has been fired up about potential food challenges.
The dude can eat. We went one year.
He must have an incredible metabolism because he weighs 112 pounds.
To lunch one day to like Mas Fajitas, and it was like a Tuesday, and it was like 50-cent tacos. We sit down, everyone's like, "Yeah, we'll have like 4 or 5." Luke's like, "Can I have 12?"
12. I bet probably 20. I'm comfortable saying I could eat 20. They got to be
12
small.
at a lunch? No, they were like normal size, like tacos. Yeah, like
If they're 50 cents, I thought they were going to be like those.
Like it's just like their lunch deal on a summer Tuesday. And
Okay.
Luke's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have a dozen." He's the type of guy that sits
dinner
down
at
and
5 o'clock too.
eats 2 pizzas.
Oh, that'd be sick. That's another good challenge for us. And we got the girls in the back that would participate if we do chicken nuggets. So
We got girls
a lot
in
of
the back, so
ideas we're kicking around
if
for.
we drank something other than water.
That's exactly right. A lot of ideas being kicked around for Thunderdome Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to the B Team. We'll be right back here tomorrow, 4:15. TexAgs Live on that desk
Everybody
right there
love everybody.
at 8 o'clock.